Mongolia, the land once ruled by Ghengis Khan and his formidable clan of warriors, is one of the remotest landscapes on Earth. At an average altitude of 1,500 meters, the Mongolian steppes are governed by an extreme climate, making it one of the most hostile environments in the world. Ghengis Khan and his descendants created the largest continuous land empire the world has ever known. In the 13th century, the kingdom stretched from Korea to Hungary. Today, Mongolia occupies an area the size of Western Europe, providing a buffer zone between the historically oppressive powers of China and the former Soviet Union. Until recently, Mongolia was a forbidden territory. Its borders were closed to foreigners for the best part of this century because Mongolia was under the strict control of Soviet communism. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, Mongolia became a democracy. And that's why today I can roam freely in this landscape. I've come to Mongolia to see one of the most specialized lifestyles on Earth that enables people to live in this vast and incredibly barren. The family I've come to visit are Halk Mongols, the largest ethnic group in Mongolia. They live in the shadow of the Altai Mountains, which sweep across the length of Western Mongolia. These nomadic people always welcome strangers. I've been told that there's never any need to announce your arrival. Sambano, Sambano. 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 Thank you. Snuff is always exchanged as a traditional ceremonial greeting. Tsogu and his wife Dashveg are the eldest and most honoured among their extended family. They have settled for the brief summer months in a district of West Mongolia known as Chandman.
Mongoлийн хэвээрээ байлаа. Монголоор гэж байсан цагт хизээд малаж байх хэвээр. Ийм учраас бол тэр Монголын энэ хэвээрээ байна, энэндээ байна гөгжилтэй байх бах гэж би бодож байгаа шүү. Тэр монголчууд малтай хөтөө. One of the key features about nomadic life is having a shelter that's portable and adapted to the local environment. Here that's what most people call a yurt, although the local word is ger. One of the most ingenious parts of the ger is the wall, which is made up of this lattice work of wood simply drilled and pinned together with rawhide. And of course, this is flexible and incredibly strong, as well as being light. The ger design is clever in its simplicity. It's completely transportable, perfected over thousands of years to complement the Mongols' nomadic lifestyle. Because the ger collapses into compact units, Mongols can break camp and load their possessions onto pack animals within just a couple of hours. The door is always orientated to the south, facing away from the prevailing Siberian winter winds. This is the roof ring. By tradition, this always has to go over the wall, never through the door. A rope is hung from the roof ring and anchored with a stone to stop it lifting in high winds. Pegs are never used, as it's disrespectful in Mongolian belief to disturb the earth. These poles are like the spokes of an umbrella holding the roof up. This is only a small ger, but there are 65 of them. And once they're all locked in place, the structure becomes incredibly strong. Once the frame's complete, it's covered in a series of layers. The ger is round in design to maximise stability against the buffeting of high winds.
이게 달려 힘들지 않다 달려다.
한 지나쳐 진짜.
The secret of the Ghengis' success is insulation. That keeps it cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And that's achieved by using this really thick felt. And they make that from their animals. The gear is completed by covering the felt in these two canvas covers. They make it look nice and protect it from rain and snow.
Finally, a tailored felt is placed over the roof hole. This cover is adjustable, making it possible to regulate the ventilation.
As soon as you see Mongolia, you realise it's horse country. It's not surprising that the people here possess some of the finest equestrian skills in the world. In fact, many of the children learn to ride before they can walk.
The Mongolian wild horse survives extreme winter conditions, enduring temperatures that would cause other breeds to perish. In early spring, herdsmen gather the horses for breaking in. Unique to Mongolian herdsmen is the urga, a long pole of willow with an attached noose of rawhide. Even though this is the traditional herder's tool, most of the men I saw were using a lasso to capture their animals. Nurzud here has been awarded the respect of Chandman district for his masterful equestrian skills. An experienced herdsman like Nurzud will take just a couple of days to fully break in a wild stallion.
Mare's milk is a highly nutritious staple of the Mongolian diet. They do all sorts of things with it. Ferment it, distill alcohol from it, even turn it into cheese. Believe it or not, it even has medicinal properties.
Dashtondov makes that call to placate the mare. He also beckons good fortune that the milk will be endowed with life-giving properties. Herdsmen have an intimate knowledge of animals. Livestock are intrinsic to their way of life, providing milk, meat, skins, wool, and of course mobility.
Монголчуудын амьдрал дээшж байна гэж хэлж шүү дээ. Мал ховд ирж. Улсын мал ховд ирээд амьдрал бидний ард улсын нэг бөөн байсан мал ховд ирж. Бидний амьдрал дээшж байна.
The women work a very long day. One of the most important jobs they do is milking the animals. In this case, about 40 goats and 60 sheep. The sheep's milk is used to produce about 10 different products. Here in this sack is being fermented. And to do that, you have to churn it between 2,000 to 3,000 times each day. I think I better have a go at that before I get covered. After 24 hours, a byproduct forms in here, butter, and they skim that off and save it. More?
Mongols spend the summer preparing to survive the winter and harsh spring months. A sheep's stomach is used to store butter and can hold about 20 kilograms, a valuable source of energy which will stay fresh for up to a year. The hearth is the focal point of the ger. For fuel, Mongol women collect and dry animal dung.
The fermented milk underneath the butter is called ayrag, and that's used to make another essential ingredient in Mongolian life, alcohol. And they do that by distilling it in a simple pot still. What we've got here is a big vat of fermented milk that's being heated so that it boils. The steam then rises in this barrel and condenses on the underside of another container that's full of cold water that's being moved around. When it condenses, it runs down and it drips off into a third container that's suspended inside this barrel. Now that alcohol's called arki, and it's about 10% proof. But on special occasions, when they want something a bit stronger, they can distill it again and end up with something comparable to vodka.
Mongolians believe that all aspects of nature are inhabited by spirits and gods. The sound of overtone singing is believed to have beneficial effects on people, animals, and the environment. It is said to mimic the drone of an impending windstorm coming off Mount Jargaland. The sound warns people of imminent danger before it sweeps across the Mongolian steppes. Mongols have been Buddhist since the 15th century. Although their religion is related to Tibetan Buddhism, it also incorporates elements of shamanism and folk religion, practices forbidden during the communist regime. In most parts of Mongolia, the Bactrian camel has the primary role of pack animal. Camels are tough, stubborn animals and full of character. They're perfectly adapted to serve the needs of nomads. Weighing in at a ton, a camel can carry a load of 140 kilograms for 100 miles without food or water. Bactrian camels run wild in Mongolia, and it needs strength and determination to break one in.
animals make incredibly good pack animals, but they're a devil of a job to catch. What they have to do now is put a peg in its nose and begin the process of domesticating it. That means getting up on top of a wild camel and riding it for a while. Of course, the first thing it wants to do is going to want to go back to that herd.
In a year's time, this camel will be tamed, receptive and obedient to its master's commands. The Nardam is always a big draw for Mongols. It's a festival of three manly sports: wrestling, archery and horse racing. This event is based on the centuries-old tradition of Mongol men demonstrating their physical prowess and skill. Today, the Nardam is a convivial celebration. People travel great distances to watch the spectacle. The wrestlers take the competition very seriously. The champion of the day challenged me. I thought 26 years of judo would stand me in good stead, as Gambolt, my jeep driver, prepared me to meet my match. Before rounds, custom dictates that the wrestlers perform a dance based on the movements of a mythical bird called Garuda. I was astonished to win. These men are hard. They didn't even clear the rocks away before the fight. Nursing 4 fractured ribs, I left Chandaman and headed west to Dort, a district perched at 3,600 meters in the Altai Mountains and home to the Mongol Oryenkai people. Dort is yak country. Here the herders use yaks as they can survive harsh conditions at high altitude and manage steep inclines. The animals are used for transport and to provide milk, meat, fuel and hides. Mongolians have always had a strong tradition of hunting. Marmots, which are a type of rodent, are highly prized for their meat and fur. The hunter performs a masked dance, using a yak's tail to lure the marmots, which are highly inquisitive by nature. Today, the rifle has superseded the bow.
The Altai Oryenkai are renowned for their archery abilities, and today I'm very fortunate to have been invited to an archery competition. But of course it starts with the formalities of the snuff bottle.
The ritual of firing an arrow from the ger stems from the days of war, when the gods were asked to assist the arrow in striking the enemy. The Mongolian bow is composite. It's made from horn and sinew bound together with fish glue. The clans in Ghengis Khan's day were renowned for their deadly accuracy. Today, Mongols retain the bow in commemoration of this great hero.
Шинэ зуунд бидний амьдрал илүү сайн сайхан болох байх гэдэгт би итгэдэг. Яагаад гэвэл бидний гадаад харилцаа маш их өргөжж байна. Тэгээд хүн ам маань залуу үе маань гадаадтай харилцаанд сайн суралцаж боловсролын түвшин өндөрсөж байгаа учраас би тэгж бүрэн итгэж найддаг.
Mongolia is a rugged country. It takes a tough, proud and resilient people to live here. And it's all these qualities that have enabled Mongolians to survive centuries of cultural oppression. Today they enjoy a freedom that they haven't experienced since the days of Ghengis Khan. A freedom to explore their customs and traditions and to explore again their cultural identity.